If you like our video, click the button to subscribe to our channel and get easy access to new content. To see our full suite of ad-free video courses, instruction manuals, and quick reference guides, visit us at www.teachucomp.com. A clipping mask is a grouped set of two or more layers in which the content of the bottom layer acts as a mask for the content in the layers above it. For example, you may have a shape layer as the bottom layer in a clipping mask, and a layer above that which contains an image. If you define the two layers as a clipping mask, you can then have the image appear only within the area defined by the underlying shape layer. In essence, the bottom layer clips the content of any layers above it in the clipping mask. The upper layers in a clipping mask are also constrained by the blending mode and opacity of the bottom layer. For example, if the bottom layer is set to a color burn blending mode with a 50% opacity, and the layer above it is set to a dissolve blending mode with 100% opacity, the upper layer's dissolve blend occurs within the confines of the bottom layer's color burn blending mode. Likewise, the upper layer's 100% opacity appears within the overall 50% opacity of the bottom layer. You can think of the blending mode and opacity of the upper layers in a clipping mask as appearing in relation to the blending mode and opacity of the bottom layer of the clipping mask. Only layers adjacent to one another in the Layers panel can be included in a clipping mask in Photoshop. The order of the layers in the Layers panel is also very important. In a clipping mask in Photoshop, the name of the base layer is underlined and thumbnails for overlying layers appear indented. The upper layers also show the clipping mask icon, which is a small bent arrow that points downward and which appears to the left of the layer's content thumbnail. To create a clipping mask in Photoshop, first place the layers into the appropriate order in the Layers panel. You can only create a clipping mask between two adjacent layers at a time. Next, select the upper layer of the two layers in the Layers panel. Then select Layer, Create Clipping Mask from the menu bar to create a clipping mask between the selected layer and the content of the layer below it. To add more layers to a clipping mask, select either the layer above the clipping mask or the layer below the clipping mask, depending on which layer to add and in which position within the clipping mask. Then select Layer, Create Clipping Mask from the menu bar again to add either the layer above or below the clipping mask. However, remember that the content of the bottommost layer acts as the clipping mask for all the layers above it, so be sure that layer is the bottommost layer in the clipping mask. To undo a clipping mask in Photoshop by releasing all the top layers from the bottom layer, select the layer directly above the bottommost layer within a clipping mask. Then select Layer, Release Clipping Mask from the menu bar. This dissolves the entire clipping mask created in the Layers panel. Alternatively, to only remove a selected layer and any layers above it from a multi-layer clipping mask, select the desired layer to remove from the clipping mask, then choose Layer, Release Clipping Mask from the menu bar. After selecting this command from the menu bar, any layers above and including the selected layer are released from the clipping mask. Remember to click the subscribe button to see more of our videos. See our full suite of courses, instruction manuals, and quick reference guides at www.teachucomp.com.